I didn't truly start seeking God for real until I had hit what I deemed to be rock bottom in my life. Um, I had a marriage that failed. I no longer was in a career that I had pretty much consumed as my identity. I was all on my own and I had to figure out, who am I? Like, what is it that I truly want to do? Who is it that I see myself becoming? And those were thoughts that I had pretty much numbed my whole life because I had grown to be a people pleaser, right? I wanted people to be happy for me. I wanted people to be proud of me because I don't think I knew how to be proud of myself. I didn't know how to just be happy for myself, with who I truly was. So a lot of my life, I was seeking validation from others, which allowed me to not really look at myself and who I truly was. So it wasn't until I had reached this place in my life where I had no choice but to figure out, who am I, that I truly started to seek God and what he had for me and who I was and who he created me to be. And I had to start seeing myself how God sees me, which was very hard to do because I was a person who did a lot of negative self-talk. I think because I had gone through a lot of things in my life that were negative, it was hard for me to see that positive things can truly happen for you, right? That God actually has good things for you. But I was blinded to these things because I had not yet seen these things happen for me in my life. I had seen a lot of negative, a lot of bad things in my life. So it was hard for me to grasp the concept of God has these good things for you, right? God created you in his image. You are worthy of these things that God is trying to give to you. So it took a lot of work for me to pretty much change my mindset, change my way of thinking. And this is something that I still battle with, right? I think it's something that I always battle with, but the more that I battle with these things, right, the more that I suffer in this place where I have to constantly climb out of negative thoughts, will only build me spiritually. It'll only draw me closer to God, right, which is God's intent in the suffering. It is the suffering that we have to go through in our life that draws us to God, right? Because he is where our help comes from. And you know how the Bible says that you should train up a child in the way they should go and they will never depart from it. So I had started remembering, going to church every Sunday, singing in the choir, hearing those words of the Lord is my strength. He's my protector. He's my provider. But I had not been in a place where I allowed God to be those things for me. I was constantly just making my own decisions, doing what I thought was right, trying to make everybody happy. And that was no longer working for me until I decided to just surrender my own way because it hadn't been working. And I just had to force myself to surrender to the Lord and believe that he is good and believe that he has good things for me. So this is the only way that you will be able to change your life. This is the only way that you will be able to change your way of thinking. You have to surrender to God and his way and just know that it's good because it's a path that you've never gone down, right? You're going to be uncomfortable. You're gonna be upset because you don't know what's going on. And in the beginning, it seems like everything is going wrong, right? Because God has to build down or tear down everything that you've created for yourself and build it up in his way. And you have to change your mindset. You have to renew your mind. You have to be able to fight against those negative thoughts that you grew up believing of yourself and start to believe what God says about you as true. And the only way that you can do that is by prayer, right? Being in your word, knowing what the word says about you, knowing the promises that God made to us, and being in constant communication with God. Prayer does not have to look a certain way, right? You don't always have to be on your face, down on your knees and everything like that. A prayer can be a simple conversation with the Lord, right? We do want to have those times where we give reverence to the Lord, where we're on our knees, where we're on our face, where we're crying out to the Lord. But prayer can be a simple conversation, right? Letting the Lord know how you really feel. Prayer is about honesty. God cannot bless who you pretend to be. He can only He can only bless who you currently are. So once you decide, I'm going to be honest with God and I'm going to be honest about where I am, and only then will you see where God can take you.